What's going on, guys? So in this video I'm going to try and explain clearly if statements in basic terms. They're pretty easy really, so let's get started. Let's create a class and call it if statement. That's pretty appropriate here, I reckon. And let's create a variable of int type and call it num, and let's initialize it in the constructor. So let's create a constructor to create objects of this class, and let's give it one integer argument, num. There we go. Just make the body. So let's just set num equal to num. Okay, so that will let us change the value of number in each instance of the if statement class that we use. So let's check the if statement now, guys, and what it's all about. So I'll put void as a return type, as we're going to use print statements to check the if we can. Okay, here we go. Right. So if num equal to or is equals to, this is a comparison operator, guys. There's four main comparison operators. So this is equal to here. This is less than or equal to. This is greater than or equal to, and this is less than, and this is greater than. So there we go. So let's say if num equals 1, and then we'll write the body of the if statement. So let's do a print statement here, and let's just type x is number 1. So let's do an if else statement. Right, okay, so sorry guys, else if, got it a bit backwards there. So else if x is 2, let's num is 2, try and type correctly. Okay, let's do the body. I bet you can't guess what I'm going to write, guys. There's a lot of tension here. It's an action-packed video. So x is number 2. Okay, and let's do another else if. So basically, if just checks the variable, and if it is equal to 1, it does whatever is in the body of the if statement. And if that's not the case and it's not equal to 1, then it will go to the next check, which you always call else if, and you can do as many else if checks as you want to. So num equals 2. So if num isn't 1, it will go to the next check, which is num equals 2. And then if that's not the case, we can create something called this is a else. So this is if it's none of those, we'll just miss the bracket there. I mean a speech mark. Okay, so if it's none of these, if x isn't equal to number 1 and x isn't equal to number 2, then this is what the program selects if none of those are options. So you don't have to have an else statement. You can just have an if statement on its own, and it either will or won't activate. You can just have an if and an else if statement as well if you want. So else, let's do a print statement so we can see the output. Let's say x is not 1 or not 2, as this statement couldn't be reached if x was either of those. So it must not be 1 and not be 2. So let's check how it goes. Oh, I misspelled. Well, I forgot the dot. Okay. So let's create a new if statement object, and we'll initialize num to 1. So if our if statement is working correctly, in this check if method, which we're going to call here, we should get x is number 1 printed in the terminal here. So let's check it. Yep, it's working correctly, guys. So the constructor created a new instance of the if statement object, and it initialized the field num to 1, which is what we just did when it created the object. And then we called this method check if, and num is 1 in that instance. So this if statement got activated, and system.out.println was called. So let's do the same again. Create another if statement object, and let's say 2. Let's check if x is number 2. Yep. So the else if was called. So it's the same process as before, but it skips this one because num is not equal to 1, so it checks there. And else if num is equal to 2, so it is equal to 2 in this instance of the if statement. So x is number 2 is printed. So let's create one more, and let's call a number just anything really. It could be negative or positive. Well, it's a bit large. I got too happy with the keyboard there. Okay, and let's call check if. So this should confirm x is not 1 or not 2. There we go, guys. So it wasn't number 1 and it wasn't number 2. So the else statement got activated, which is just all other cases that weren't called previously. So all of these are linked in a single selection block. And that's all there is to it, guys. So I hope this video helped you, and if you liked it, don't forget to like, subscribe and comment. Take it easy, guys.